Hi and welcome to Golf FM. This is mostly a review about the Ping I530 and whether I think I should use it. I'm about to change my clubs. I've got Wilson D9 forged I've had for the last couple of years, and I want something that I don't lose any distance with but might look a little bit bladier, a little bit better playerish, thinner top line, that sort of thing, a bit smaller. And I hadn't banked on the I530 coming in and looking so good. I knew it was coming, and I've tried lots of different models before this, and I'd kind of discounted this because I thought it was too similar to the D9 forged. But actually when you look at this, especially the top line, it's one of the thinnest top lines for a club which has so much forgiveness that I've ever seen. I mean, when you even put it up against things like the T200 from Titleist or the P770 from Taylormade, it's arguably thinner. It's certainly not any wider, and for it to have a hollow body with lots of forgiveness, tungsten weights, and also a forged face for soft feel, it really ticks a lot of boxes for me. So I haven't hit it. I want to go and hit it, see how it feels, see how far it goes, what sort of height I'm getting, what sort of backspin I'm getting. I would say the one slight reservation I have so far over it is that I've seen that it's 29 degrees and my Wilson D9 Forge is 30.5, and a lot of the other clubs that I've tested in this sort of category are either 30.5 or 31. I know that if I go down to 29, normally it's just going to come out like a bullet and not have as much spin on it. I'm already sort of borderline not enough spin. It'll be interesting to see. This might be the one time where I could order a set with weaker lofts. So you can get retro lofts which take it to 31. I mean, I could probably specify 30 if I wanted. I want to see what it's like off 29, might be surprised, but mainly it's about feel and looks and how that compares to the others. Now, I've been through the others before and I'll put the stats up on the averages for those. I'm not going to hit them today just for everyone's sanity. So I think first of all I'll hit this Ping I530 and give you my feedback, and then I'll just compare looks. Actually, I know I've been rabbiting on a bit already. I think what I'll actually do is just talk to you about the backs of them, the looks of the backs and the sole and that sort of thing, and then the top lines now, and then I'll hit the club. I'm itching to hit it, to be honest. It's a real surprise how good it looks to me. That I530, a little bit of a wider sole at the bottom, but I just think looks absolutely brilliant at the back. Just they've cleaned it up, they've simplified it, and I love how it's just subtle. It doesn't have ping blasted everywhere, it's just on the neck, it just says I530. It's really understated, and I just think overall in the bag it just looks really good. D9 Forge, which is Dynapower now and has changed a little bit, but is very, very similar to that. And to me, the I530 straight away just looks better than that. It doesn't look as game improvey. It looks a bit bladier, and as I'll talk about in a minute, the top line is slightly better. T200, that arguably does look as playerish, if not more, but as you'll see from the top line, very little difference when it comes to that. I have to admit, it does look really good in terms of offering a lot of forgiveness, distance, and still looking quite playerish. And finally, the P770, which on paper doesn't get into this group because it's a bit smaller, it's weaker lofted, it's 33 as standard. What I did when I tested this recently was I knocked it down to 31 degrees, so it had a chance, a fighting chance of getting the same sort of distance, and it was pretty close. It was a tiny bit less, but I probably wouldn't have had to use less club, so it is a contender, especially in that black finish, which is a bit different and I quite fancied. So on this is a little bit narrower possibly, but top line again, as you'll see, not that much different. So if I look at the top line here, the Ping head is as long heel to toe probably as the D9 Forged. It's probably a little bit bigger than the T200, and it's certainly longer than the P770, but you're only talking a few millimeters, it's not a lot. Top line wise, the P770, which should be the thinnest because it's slightly less forgiving and smaller than the others, there just isn't enough of a difference. It's not thin enough. It's not thinner. I don't think it's actually visibly thinner. There's not a lot between any of them, but if anything, the Ping I530 almost sits the best. To me, there doesn't look a lot of offset. I mean, arguably there almost looks more offset in the T200. The D9 Forge, not a lot of difference, and the P770 is similar. So I don't feel I'm losing anything at address by using this. Another consideration, just to let you know in case you don't know a lot about these sort of clubs, this is hollow and therefore the face is quite thin and is meant to flex and bend and give you a little bit more speed. There are people out there that think that this gives you flyers and jumpers a lot of the time. Now, I've been using D9 Forge for 2 years, as I say, and I used D7 Forge before that. Very similar build, very similar sort of iron, and I have to say I have not noticed that being a problem. But I mean, I'm not playing for my living. I'm teaching and doing fittings and reviewing clubs and stuff now, but so I'm not relying on it for tournament play. Possibly if I was relying on it for tournament play, I might want something where that just wasn't a possibility, where it was just a flat bit of metal that couldn't flex and jump out like a trampoline. I'll be watching for that when I'm hitting this. As I say, it's not a major concern for me. So, looks good at address. It's maybe a little bit bigger than I would absolutely want, but overall aesthetics, absolutely love it. Shaft is similar to what I would use. It's 100 gram dynamic gold mid shaft. I use the DG 105 normally. Didn't hit that very well. I'm expecting some long distance out of this because of the loft. So that was 186, 4,000 spin. Didn't hit it well, but that was a kind of duffy one. And it's gone 100, well, not 186 in the air, 170. Again, not very well hit, and out to the right a little bit. So that gone 174, carry 186. My carries and averages on previous clubs, highly technical little bit of paper here. T200, which is 30.5 degrees loft, I carried that on average 174, 5,200 spin, 18.1 degrees launch, 45 degrees descent angle. The D9 was 176 carry, 5,586 spin, 17.9 launch and 46 descent. And the P770 strong lofted, 31 degrees, was 173 carry and 5,698 spin, 18.5 and 46 degree descent angle. So I'm looking for this. I would imagine 29 degrees should carry further on average. And that one there is probably an indicator because it didn't hit that particularly well. It's still gone 174 in the air. Let's see if we can get some normal ones and see what the spin's like. I've left the blade open. Feel wise, it's feeling pretty good. I'm not noticing it being hard in any way. 171. I'll be straighter, I would think, but it wasn't absolutely middled. It was pretty hard hit, but it wasn't flushed, I wouldn't have said. 175 in there, 187 total, 5,400 spin, 19 launch. So they're decent figures so far, considering I'm not absolutely nutted one yet. That's getting deleted. Delete. Yeah, take it out. I'll leave 10. Not perfect ones, but decent ones in there. That's kind of what I did with the other averages. And that was a better hit. Oh, there's that slight draw, which I would normally do if I hit one properly. And that went 187 carry. But that's hit properly. The others have not been hit properly. And then we go in like 174, where my other ones were averaging on, you know, a decent batch. That's strong. 187 in the air. I mean, that's hitting one less club if that's what that does. What was the spin? Spin was 5,024, so it's not stupid. Not when you consider how far that's going. And what's the descent angle? The descent angle is 46 on that. So again, that's all right. Wow. Yeah, solid strike again. 184 in the air, 5,000 spin. Let's see what the descent was. 45's in the green zone. I rarely get that spin figure into the green zone. But to me, you can't have it both ways. I mean, 184 a while ago, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, probably was getting on for a 5-iron. Maybe a 6, but a 5-iron a lot of the time. For it to finish 198, which is what it does here in Scotland, where, you know, it carries 184 and it will not stop immediately. Absolutely no chance. If you've never played here before, you won't understand that probably, that the ball does not stop. It takes a big hop and then the backswing tries to spin it, but by the time, even a 7-iron into a fairly firm green in the summer will take normally 10 to 15 yards before it actually settles down. I know that sounds hard to believe when you're playing in Florida or Spain or something and your ball's just jamming into the ground and stopping almost immediately. And you do have to worry about carry then. But 184 carry still is a long way for me for a 7-iron. That's one less club than what I'm currently doing. So I'd have to hit an 8-iron to hit 174. I think it was all right. 184 in the air again. It's going about 10 yards further. I suppose if you think, well, existing iron is 30.5 degrees, this is 1.5 degrees stronger. You wouldn't have expected it to, on average, carry 10 yards further. What's the spin again? 5,300. That's not that bad when it's going 184 in the air. Did I get in the green there actually? Descent angle's in the green, but still red first spin. Not unbelievable, but might have to be kept in. 180 carry, not hit perfectly. Bit off the bottom of the club, a clean strike, still went 179 in the air. Spin came down a lot, but I would have hit, in these other averages that I gave you, I would have hit shots like that. A little bit clean, a wee bit better than the last one, but a little bit miles away, I wouldn't think. You know, 186 carry. This is strong, this club, it really is. Oh, when you get this in for fitting and you don't say anything about the loft, if you don't mention it, people are going to be flabbergasted, is the word I would use, as to how far this is going compared to some of their own clubs, especially if they're using a slightly more traditional set. Didn't register, thanks for nothing. Probably moving that one left a bit. So my hands go over, I've been leaving them out to the right a bit and I just overcompensated, so that'll probably go quite far. Oh well, 183 wasn't ridiculous, but it brought the spin down. So the spin figures are going to be down a bit. I think when I hit a good one, the spin's actually not too bad, considering how far it's going. Felt good again. Feels nice. Feels like it's forged. 185 in the air. 5,100 spin. This is pretty mental. I thought when I saw 29 I would almost definitely have to get these weakened, but I'm not so sure now, and this could just be another step up in terms of being able to hit less club, a shorter shaft and more confidence in my head, because I think I'm hitting less club. But the short shaft thing is not to be sniffed at. When you have a shorter club in your hands, you are more accurate. End of story. And you're more confident. So the strong lofts are not all the sort of trickery and badness that everybody would have you believe. Not a perfect strike. 181. Not suddenly seeing it jump in. There seems to be a maximum it goes of about 184 in the air. And it's not as if suddenly it's gone 190 or 195 in the air. So it's not obviously not trampolining out too badly and inconsistently. Yeah, decent shot. Yeah, there's that 184 carry again. Right, I think it's time to have a look at the numbers. Right, okay, so the averages. The average carry has come out at 180, but there's one carry, 187, there's a 184, there's a 184, there's a 186, there's a 185, there's also a 171, a 175, a 177 and a 179 in the 10 best. I hit about 17, just whittled it down to the sort of 10 best ones. Spin rate is 5,321 on average. The highest it got was 5,895, but that was on a quite high short shot, I think. And the descent angle is on average 46, so it's come down at a passable sort of angle, to be honest, considering the distance as well. So if I can hit what I think, you know, standing on a tee thinking what distance can I carry this if I hit it properly, I'm almost starting to think that that club at 29 degrees I can hit 184 in the air, which to be honest is a 6 iron in my normal set, pretty close to that, and I could almost hit an 8 iron for the 174 shot. What I think I'll do is hit them outside and just check that I like the sound, like the feel, and it is doing what I think, and it's kind of under control and it's stopping on a green as well. But judging it on stats, you know, the average on the T200 Titleist was 174 carry, the D9 was 176 and 173 on the P770 2 degrees strong. So it's 5-6 yards, 7 yards further than all those on average, which is useful. And it's still spinning at an okay rate, and the descent angle's okay. So as far as I'm concerned, it's usable. And I do really like the look, so let's conclude then. I mean, just looking at it, I just think it looks really good. I just like the simplicity, I like the subtlety of it. I don't, you know, it's not over designed, and I just like the branding on it. Like it's an I530 and it doesn't even shout ping at you. It's on, as I say, small on the neck. The overall profile of it, size of it, looks almost smaller than my D9. If I put them up side by side, yeah, it's no contest in terms of shelf appeal and bag appeal, and it looks smaller. It's going further. So let me just get this into my head. It looks nicer, it's going further, feels just as good. What's stopping me? I think this is a real contender for me. I think this could be ping irons, ping bag, ping accessories. I'm almost starting to imagine the whole thing happening now. There's one or two other clubs I want to try. Like, I haven't tried the Cobra Forged Tech. I need to give that a run, and I'm sure there's one or two others that I might not have thought about. So I'm not in a mad rush to get them changed. I would like to do it fairly soon, because you know what it's like when you've made the decision and then you're forced to go out with the clubs that you know you're not using anymore. It's like, what chance have I got here? I don't like these anymore. I'm not quite at that stage with the D9 Forge. I do still like them. I still think it's a nice looking club, and it still is very forgiving and goes a long way. So I'm not unhappy playing with them, but you know, you want to get the new stuff into the bag as soon as you can. So definitely a strong contender, this, and I would highly recommend you trying it as well if you're having a think about new clubs. They're going to be expensive. They're going to be £1,100-1,200 a set pretty easily for a 7 club set, say. So they're the top end, but they're not astronomical compared to some of them. That's just what you pay for. As soon as you put a forged face in something, you're adding a lot of cost, but you're also getting a softer feel. So yeah, really impressed with them. And if you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And once again, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.